What really makes a great LEGO Transformer? Is it the accuracy, engineering, or the pure hit of nostalgia? Today, we're putting LEGO Soundwave in the spotlight, transformation, display presence, and collector level details. Stay tuned and decide if this LEGO Transformers release is worthy of your shelf. Let's go. I was planning on ending off the year with this spotlight, but looks like we're instead jumping right into 2026 with this awesome look at LEGO Soundwave, made entirely from LEGO bricks that actually transforms and even has sound effects. We're going to do a deep dive into its transformation, the LASERBEAK and RAVAGE cassettes, scale comparisons with the other LEGO Transformers and Soundwaves from other lines including G1 Soundwave, and a lot more. Plus, I figured I'd throw in some 80s goodness with these images since I am totally on a synth neon 80s kick these days. Plug in and press play as we explore everything this set has to offer. Every time we get one of these sets, I'm more and more amazed at how intricate, detailed, and ingenious these LEGO Transformers are. I personally haven't built one yet, leaving that up to my kids, but man am I impressed once I see the end result. And I have to say that this Soundwave LEGO set has to be my favorite and the most impressive to date. You can barely tell that it's a LEGO set at first glance, it's that well designed. And it has all the details you'd expect from a G1 based Soundwave figure, from decals to color to accurate lasers. His head design, even though entirely made from standard LEGO pieces, is unmistakably G1 Soundwaves. You can even change out the color of his eyes from red to yellow with a simple switch of two small standard LEGO pieces. His side view is surprisingly very clean as well, nothing really sticks out, has empty spaces, or looks out of place. The back is where you can really tell that it's a LEGO set, but I have to say it still looks incredible, and I kinda like the Technic look to it here. I don't know how the LEGO engineers do it, but even his shoulder-mounted cannon is accurate to Soundwave's G1 version, down to the red stripe. Plus, look at that amazing cassette panel that actually opens and can house one of the two cassettes Soundwave comes with. His legs look perfect down to the design and decals, even more impressive given that they transform and do so in a very smart way. As for his other laser, it looks exactly like how you would expect it to look, even going so far as replicating the missile portion that sticks out. As this is a LEGO set, some restriction in movement is expected, but you can generally pose him the way you want, including in this pose of him about to press his eject button, which actually works. Of course, any Soundwave figure wouldn't be complete if he didn't at least come with a cassette. Lucky us, we actually get two in this set, LASERBEAK and RAVAGE. And they're both great little feats of engineering as well, with my favorite of the two cassettes being LASERBEAK. Ultimately, they did an amazing job capturing their overall look and essence, including their weapons. While the RAVAGE figure is generally just fine, it's actually one of the better versions I have seen recently, so kudos for that. LASERBEAK can of course be posed on Soundwave's shoulder like I did here, and which I think looks great. And RAVAGE, although seemingly a bit small, also looks good by his master's leg, ready to pounce. As is par for the course, you get a nice little LEGO plaque that you can use for your display, with the extra bonus of a small, buildable Soundwave cassette player, which I absolutely love. So overall, if you love LEGO and you love Transformers, this is a must-have. Even if you were only a fan of one of these properties, this set would be an awesome addition to either collection, and so far, it's my favorite. So while I thought the bot mode was really well designed, I'm even more excited about LEGO Soundwave's cassette player mode. Other than a row of LEGO connector pieces at the bottom, it's a perfect representation of Soundwave's G1 cassette player mode, down to the decals, play buttons, and overall design. And given recent iterations of Soundwave's design in the back, it is as good or even better. And we all know that we'd never display him this way anyway. Plus, all his weapons, including the missile, latch onto the back. You can see here how the shoulder laser and hand laser use different attachment mechanisms to accomplish the same thing. From the side, it generally looks fine as well, though not as clean as in bot mode. Still, it is fairly compact and streamlined for what it is. And the best part, you get something like 30 different sound effects, including Soundwave's voice and the Transformers cutscene sound. A little bit closer look at his plaque, which covers all the details of his tech specs, as well as little cassette player Soundwave, which like I said earlier, I absolutely love as a bonus. The cassette bay door opens by pressing the button as you'd do for a real cassette player, which can house either RAVAGE in cassette form or LASERBEAK. Note that you can also display the small cassette player with either LASERBEAK or RAVAGE as well. Both cassettes look fairly good in this mode, with LASERBEAK being my preferred one as well since it is the cleanest. And like the originals, you do have to remove their weapons and keep them aside when in this mode. Note the added details like the hubs and Decepticon symbols. So a really great job on this cassette player, as good or better than others from the main Transformers line in my opinion. And a great display in anyone's room, even for a bit of general 80s nostalgia. Like I said earlier, this Transformer set has some really amazing engineering. So let's get right into it. We'll start by taking off his weapons. The shoulder one just pops right off, and his arm one just comes right out as well. What we'll do now is close up the feet, and you can see here how that amazing bit of engineering works. So just push it up and the inside folds in. And then we'll just bring these two back pieces right underneath where the foot was. And then let's move to the arms. We'll unhinge it right here. You can see the part where it connects. Again, some great engineering. And do that here as well. Just pull it out. I don't want to break it. There you go. And now we'll just bring it to the back. You can see how these parts stay open. And like other similar Soundwaves, you have to open up the back and you just fold the head in after you turn it 180 degrees. It fits in perfectly, and then you just close it back up. Now for the legs, what I like to do is lift it up like so, 90 degrees, and then rotate it. Again, 90 degrees. Oh, sorry about that. Don't mind the sound effects. Sometimes you press a button when you're transforming it. And then, yeah, you just close up the leg like so. And then what we'll do in the back here is we'll just tab it in to the leg. So you just tab the arm into the leg. Again, this is very similar to other Soundwaves. So lift this up 90 degrees, rotate it 90 degrees, and then bring that right up. This part doesn't tab in. Where it does tab in is right over here. You can see the little piece that you use, and click that in. And now just lift up the hands. Do the same for this side. And for the last part, all you have to do is lift up this little piece right here and do the same on this side. And there you go. Soundwave is fully transformed into his cassette player mode. Now all that's left to do is to put away all his missiles and weapons. So we'll just flip it around and fix the arm up. And first we'll start with this laser. We take off that missile portion, and you can see here that kind of spot where you just tab in the laser right there. And then we're going to do the same with the cannon, but it has a different way to attach. So you just actually do a regular attachment with the LEGO connectors, and right here you have a spot to click on the missile. Use the top one actually, and it fits right in. So everything's nice and compact, tucked away, and your Soundwave is ready to blast out some tunes. So now let's move on to the cassettes, and we'll start with LASERBEAK here. So we'll take off his two kind of jetpack lasers. And similar to many other LASERBEAKs, including the original, you just kind of fold everything up. And that's it. Now RAVAGE takes a little more work, but still pretty straightforward. So we'll take off his side mounted lasers. We'll flip the head back, and then this little small tail. And then we'll lift up the leg portions like this. You just push those in like I just did, rotate this a little forward, and then just tuck that leg in. So flip it around, push it in, and then RAVAGE is transformed into his cassette. Given that this is a fairly new line of LEGO figures, there isn't that much to display them with, so I decided to combine both the scale comparison section and the display ideas section into one. So let's start with our LEGO collection and see how these guys compare in design and size. Starting with Optimus, who is generally about the same size overall and looks quite good next to Soundwave, again with Soundwave now being my favorite. Bumblebee scale-wise is a bit smaller, which is great. I wouldn't want scales to be off simply because LEGO was trying to get the same price point for a bigger figure. And together, they look awesome. I really hope they keep these going for the sake of my kids because I think generally LEGO is great for their minds, as is Transformers, and these sets look fantastic together. All three come with little plaques with beautiful silhouettes of the figures in the background and their individual tech specs, making these great for displays. Transformed, these guys make for a fun little display as well, and they scale just like you'd expect them to. While all three represent amazing feats of engineering, I still think Soundwave looks the best to date in both modes. And whether you like displaying them as robots or in their alt modes, they do make for an incredible looking group for your shelf. If they do in fact keep these going, I'd love to see a Megatron, Grimlock, or Starscream next. This is definitely a sub-series that I think they could continue indefinitely, and I truly hope they do. What do you guys think of these so far, and have any of you bought and built these yet? Let us know in the comments section. Now let's take a look at how this LEGO Soundwave compares next to other recent releases of Soundwave from the main Transformers line, starting with the greatest of all time, G1 Soundwave. You can really see the difference in scale here. LEGO Soundwave is huge, over a foot tall, 13 inches in total. Nothing can beat Masterpiece Soundwave from the recent iterations in my opinion, but wow did LEGO do an incredible job in design. Let's take a bit deeper dive into G1 since that really is a source of inspiration for this LEGO version, and like I said earlier, all the main design elements, decals, and feel are there. I am still totally in awe of how well they replicated his head and chest area. Even his arms replicate the molded in design of the original. The really amazing part is how they kept the overall aesthetic of the leg design and took it a step further by developing incredible engineering using that design element as part of the transformation as we saw earlier in the transformation section. What a great homage to the original and a beautiful way to combine two really great toy lines into one. As I said, a must-have for fans of the original. Now look at the cassette player and how well the LEGO version matches up to the original G1 version. Pretty much everything is there from the original. The play buttons, the decals, the left and right speakers, everything. And I think this actually makes for the perfect display with G1 Soundwave. As for the cassettes, I still think G1 RAVAGE was one of, if not the best version of RAVAGE to date. However, LEGO RAVAGE for what it is a pretty nice and cute looking version. LASERBEAK does look pretty close to the original though, which to me was also a perfect design. As for how these guys look next to other modern iterations of the cassettes, here are some fun ones for your viewing pleasure, spanning a wide range of Soundwave releases from a number of different properties. Can you name them all in the comment section? As for the cassettes and their alt modes, LEGO did a not too bad job at replicating the G1 originals as well, though I again think that the originals were absolutely the best to date, along with Masterpiece. A few extra decals would have been nice, but you definitely get the overall feel of the G1 cassettes with these LEGO ones, with LASERBEAK again being the most faithful. And to end this section up, one small idea for a display if you ever felt like displaying a couple of your different Soundwaves together, in this case using G1 and the core Soundwave versions. What a great look. I really like the box design for this LEGO Soundwave, minus that huge warning on the front. This is what a collectible box should look like, design-wise. The back has some nice detail to it as well, including a fun callback to the original G1 packaging, which always showed 3 to 4 steps of the transformation. Nice clean looking instructions booklet, which they changed from the original Optimus design. This one is much better in my opinion. I love that they included a few pages for the fans, this one talking about the design process and showcasing a few great pieces of G1 styled Soundwave art. A great read if you have this or want to pause here. The instructions also have a couple of pages about the features of the set and even speak to the reasoning for having 2 sets of eyes, one yellow, one red, and shows what pieces are used to make the switch. And finally, you get a few pages about the collection and specifically more information about LEGO Soundwave and his general role as part of the Decepticons as Megatron's comms officer. There's even a page about the newest addition to the LEGO Transformers line, the appropriately called LEGO Soundbrick, which indicates that the sounds you get are not only taken from the original cartoon series, but also newly recorded dialogue not found anywhere else. Now that's a collectible. So that brings us to the end of this unique spotlight on the latest addition to the LEGO Transformers line, G1 Soundwave. Hope you've enjoyed this take on the LEGO set. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe so that we can see you back here again. See you all next time, and remember, it's all such heroic nonsense in the end.
Transform!